All right, so let's take a look at the break statement. So we can say, we can use breaks to exit a loop, right? So instead of terminating this here, I went and I reopened the for loop. So I'm just going to say here, so in this particular for loop, we have just a simple old loop, right? If I print out the variable I here, run that, you get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what I can say here is if I, and let's just kind of close this up here. If I is greater than or let's say less than or equal to 2, I'm just going to include a break statement here, break. And then I'll just go ahead and print out. Well, let's put the print here so I can kind of show you what exactly the print does. So I'm going to print I. All right, so I'm going to hit F11. Let's wrap that. These two goes to our exception. And we need one more curly brace for our for loop. And I'm just going to go up to source and then format. And I might end up doing Control Shift F. Alright, so system.out.println. So I'm going to hit F11 here. It doesn't seem to run. So this code here, I was trying to show you, was it's unreachable. So if I put it after the break statement, it'll never run. So we get that error. But if I put it before my break statement, you'll see there's no error there. So I hit F11 to run. You'll notice that if I is less than or equal to 2, print I. It terminates at 0. How about if we say if I is the same as 2, we get 0, 1, 2. So it'll run the for loop as long as I is not the same as 2, and then it'll break out. Okay? Now some of you might be wondering, well, here, if we run that, if I equals the same as 2, we print it out, what'll happen? Well, you'll notice that as long as I is the same as 2, we're going to print, right? Well, we still have this for loop on the outside. We're never actually exiting the for loop if I is the same as 2. The only way we can do that is by inserting break statements. So you see we get, it runs through the for loop once. We print 0 here. If I is the same as 2, which it's not yet, right? So we don't print 0. Is 1 the same as 2? No. So this if statement never runs. So we print 1. Then we get 2, 2, because for one moment, I is the same as 2, so we print 2, and then we print 2 again. All right, so let's take a look at doing this with some letters. So I'm going to create a character and call it CH. And what I'm going to say here is, well, let's take a look at this. What if I don't put any parameters in here? Let's see if we get an error. It's interesting how we don't get an error at all when we have nothing within these parameters. Well, this is called an infinite loop. That means it'll run infinitely. Because we don't have any exceptions or whatever. So let's just say, let's do this. I'm going to drop my system.out.print here and just write the word infinite. All right, and I'm going to hit, let's see. So these two are there, these two are there. This is my extra. All right, I'm going to hit F11. And you'll notice it's constantly, let me hit Control F2 here to break out. I believe it's F2. Let's take a look. What is our terminate? Let's see. So anyway, what you'll notice is having a for loop with nothing in it will run infinitely. You can see that it continuously displayed infinite on the screen until it runs out of memory. So how do we exit this? Well, that's where the break statement comes in again. So we have this character called ch here, right? And I'm just going to import in again. So import java.util.scanner. And I'm just going to go ahead. We have our throws iOS exception. I'm just going to say here, I'm going to say ch equals. I'm going to make sure that it's typecasted the character. System dot in dot read and here. And so what I'm going to do is, let's see, system.out.println if ch is the same as q, we'll do a break. And let's go ahead and do the letter you entered is, give ourselves a little space here, ch, and Control-Shift-F to format that. Let's hit F11. And right now it's looking for a letter. So I enter A, B, S, D, F. Let's enter Q. It says the letter you entered is Q. So really we should put inside of our for loop, please enter a letter. So let's take a look at embedding our break statement into a series of loops. So I'm just going to write out for, open close parentheses. So if we say for inti equals 0 semicolon, and I is less than 3, so this is going to be sort of our counter here, and I'm just going to increment I. So this should be nothing new to us, right? I'm going to print out system.out.print. Let's do, it doesn't matter, I'm just going to change those anyway. So print line, the outer loop, count, space, plus I. So if I hit F11 right now, it should go 1, 2, 3. Oh, here's 0, 1. We haven't actually incremented it, sorry. Plus, 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 I. There we go. So that should work better. So we should get 0, 1, 2. So if we put here another dot out dot print, and I'm going to space this out, inner loop count. Now this I'm going to this is going to be used to sort of offset my while loop. So let's take a look at that. So I'm going to make another integer, this while loop, j. Make that equal to 0. And I'm just going to say while j is less than 100. Or let's say 1,000, okay? Okay, so while j is less than 1,000, we're going to run this code. So I'm going to say here, if j is the same as 11, let me go ahead and break out of this loop. Otherwise, I'm just going to do system.out.print line. And we can space out our j. So j plus space. And remember, we have nothing that's incrementing j, so I'm going to increment j here. Otherwise, j will just stay at 0. All right? So as long as while j is less than 1,000. Now, what we're doing here is we're checking if j is the same as 11, we're going to break that out. So this is going to loop, continuously loop. So think about this. If I run this right now, it's going to say equals 0, inner loop, then it's going to run the code that's here, this while loop. So it's going to run the while loop continuously until it finishes, then it's going to come back up to the top and go to 2, and then run the while loop, 3, and then run the while loop. So let's see if this works. And we have an error, which is this right here. We want plus, not equals here. So j plus a space. And I think it has the same problem as before. It's unreachable code. I'm actually going to place this out here. Oops. I'm going to place I'm going to place both of these outside of that if statement. Otherwise, they'll never run. All right, let's check that. You know what? I want this inside of here. Yeah, let's put this up here. And let's run it. All right, let's see. What's the problem? Oh, I'm just continuously pressing. All right, let's try this one more time. You know what? We need to put this outside of here, outside of this while loop here. So this block is this if, and then we want to stay within the while statement. We just want to stay away from this if. And I had it outside of the while statement. Okay, so I'm going to actually get rid of print line here, and I'm going to hit F11 so 1 through 10 end up on the same. So you can see here we get inner loop count, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, and then here's 1, 2, and 3. Okay? And we can even say, we can actually start this off at 1 here. If I hit F11, you notice we get 1 and then the inner loop count 2, and it gets rid of that 0 that was up there before.